Good afternoon, everybody. We're excited to be here on the corner of 47th and Normandie Avenue, right in the heart of South Los Angeles, on the border of the 8th and 9th council districts, to do yet another groundbreaking. We've done more than I can count by this point to set on this land, on this space in our community, more than 50 new units of housing for people struggling with houselessness. And so we're excited about the opportunity to get this work started today in a formal way. And we're very, very happy to be joined here in the district, in the community, on the ground by a great mayor who led the process to give us Measure HHH, which allows us to build this facility. We opened a new one just yesterday, a navigation facility down on Manchester. Let's give a big, warm welcome to our mayor, the leader of our city, Mr. Eric Garcetti.
Thank you so much, Alex, and thank you, Councilmember Harris-Dawson. What a joy it is to be with you 2 days in a row, changing not only the 8th District but Los Angeles, and the 8th District is leading the way, and that's because of the representation this district enjoys with a council member who not only has wanted to tackle homelessness, but the root of homelessness and houselessness, poverty, inequity, and this year especially the ways in which we can continue to move forward of putting what voters asked for, buildings up, help on the ground, and hope in our community. So thank you, Councilmember Harris-Dawson, for the things that you and your team do every single day for our unhoused brothers and sisters to bring them indoors. I also want to wish everybody again a happy and a healthy new year. This is a tough moment for our city. The darkest moment we faced in this fight against COVID. And so just to reiterate to folks, continue to stay home and do everything you can to stay safe in this moment when so many people are overwhelming our medical system. And so much of that, 90% of it, is our own private behavior at this point. As I encourage and hope that our county will continue to take the right measures to help us get our vaccinations out, keep closed what needs to be kept closed. It really falls on us and our own behavior. So in this beginning of a year in which we take stock on so much loss that is around us and so much loss that is behind us, let us look at the hope that is ahead of us as well, both with COVID, but also here with homelessness, a pandemic, a crisis that predates COVID and that will post-date it, but that is just like we've seen with COVID-19, as solvable by human action as it is caused by human inaction. We know that as we see our hospitals stretched to capacity with COVID-19, we've seen our housing stretched to capacity for too many years, where people cannot find a bed to sleep in, and we see too many people in tents on our streets, in their vehicles, in shelters. But we have real reason to be hopeful, because voters asked us to supplement what we had done in years past and to continue to find more and more money. We said there wasn't enough money, and for 2 decades there's been the promise of maybe that we could go to the voters and ask them to approve a ballot measure to build thousands of units of housing. And one of the leaders in that fight was the then chair of our Homelessness and Poverty Committee, and somebody who said, we need this. I remember those conversations. He was unyielding. There was unclear whether or not we'd go to the voters for a bond for housing. He persisted. We got that on the ballot. A great team was behind it, and it passed with a record vote. More than 70% of Angelenos said yes to that, and then to H, a measure to get the services to help people get into that housing that we would build as well. You know, we're going to be visiting together to look at some of the progress that we're making with our vaccines. I'm going to be going with council members, including Councilmember Harris-Dawson, in the weeks ahead to our vaccine sites that we're opening up. A few city recreation and parks facilities actually tomorrow are going to have places for healthcare workers in communities like this, where maybe their employer doesn't have a vaccine waiting for them, to make sure that they get safely vaccinated. But today, as much optimism as we feel in that moving forward, Chesterfield Apartments gives me the optimism that we are going to vaccinate a community against poverty and against homelessness. And when this opens up in the middle of next year, this will be a home to seniors whom for too long there has not been a place to call home. And not only has Councilmember Harris-Dawson and his team been critical, but Wakeland Housing, and I'm married to Amy Wakeland. There is no relation, but I love the name of Wakeland Housing. You had me at hello because of a wonderful Midwesterner that I met and married. It was our anniversary actually yesterday. But Wakeland Housing and Development Corporation, again, no relationship, which has not only this, but another 3 projects in the pipeline. We can put money out there. We can say we want it, but the hard work of finding the properties and building the capital stack falls on the tremendous work of folks like Ken Sauter, Rebecca Louie, and David Heatherton. And HACLA, our housing authority, who stepped forward with housing vouchers to make sure this gets done. St. Joseph Center, which is going to have case management for residents here. The LA County Department of Health Services, which is providing funding for the intensive case management here. And of course, the LA County Department of Mental Health. We know too many people who are houseless because of mental health that has gone undiagnosed and untreated. And all the funding partners who have made this possible, from HCID, our housing department in the city, the California Department of Housing and Community Development, the LA County Development Authority, Wells Fargo Bank, California Community Reinvestment Corporation. I'm saying all this so you guys don't have to go through the long list. But, you know, yesterday when Councilmember Harris-Dawson and I opened one of the newest HHH facilities, the first navigation center on this side of the hills from the valley and the second in our city, built with HHH funds to give people a place to store their things, to get a shower, to do their laundry, and to begin to be case managed so that they can come off the streets and find that job or that health care that they need. That center is going to be critical for delivering folks off the streets and administered by HOPIX, an amazing organization. But today we get to break ground on this, a second facility just in 2 days in this council district alone. Chesterfield Apartments, the 24th HHH financed project that has broken ground here in Los Angeles or opened up, and one of 46 supportive housing projects currently under construction. 24 broke ground in the last 10 months. 46 are either underway or done. And since making the commitment to build 10,000 more supportive housing units in 2016, we've completed or started 3,700 of those for formerly houseless Angelenos. Altogether, 6 of those opened their doors already just last year, and over 120, that's right, 120 HHH projects are in the works. Let me break that down. There's 7,600 of those units are going to be permanent supportive housing that are already underway, and 500 of them already have their doors open. 2020 brought a lot of challenges, but one of the things we kept going was infrastructure, and this is key infrastructure. So we've strengthened our resolves, and with financing from HHH, our development partners began construction on 29 more projects with nearly 1,500 units. And we made a commitment to increase our production of permanent supportive housing to 1,000 units a year. We're going to blow past that goal by 50%. And I know a lot of people hear about that one project where it was the hillside or it cost a little bit more. We're putting in an average of $140,000 per unit of HHH money. Let me repeat that. It's actually under $140,000 per unit, which is a great leveraging of what you voted for to produce more than 10,000 units of housing, both permanent supportive and affordable housing, and facilities like the former fire station navigation center from yesterday. This project will be focused on seniors, one of our most vulnerable populations and often overlooked. People don't think of seniors as being unhoused, but they are. And increasingly, our homeless population is getting older. This combination of being on a fixed income and high rent is devastating for older Angelenos right now. A medical expense, a job loss, and it's all over. In 2018, the overall homeless population dipped slightly in 2018. The number of homeless people in LA County aged 62 and older grew by 22% to nearly 5,000 of our seniors without homes. This year, that year, a group headed up by LASA set out to study what was going on and reported back in 2019 that there are 125,000 low-income seniors in the city of Los Angeles. 125,000. But just 7,800 affordable units for seniors. Look at that disconnect. Chesterfield Apartments is a small but important step to remedy that imbalance, to make sure that older Angelenos have a place to rest their head at night and to get the supportive services they need to be healthy and active. Our work is far from done, but I want you to know this stat too. In the last 3 years, we've moved more supportive housing forward than in the last 30. We're making up for a deficit that is 30 years old. But this generation will be part of the generation that reverses this, that builds housing at all levels, but especially for those that are in the greatest need. And we're not just going to focus on numbers. We're going to focus on narratives. I like groundbreakings, but I love more the ribbon cuttings. In fact, just before the pandemic hit, Councilmember Harris-Dawson and I were at the opening of one of the first supportive housing projects completed in 2020. And we got to hear the stories of people. For those who might have feared that project coming into their community, they suddenly got a great neighbor. And they heard what she or he has overcome in their lives and how excited they were to engage in this community, shop in local stores, be a part of the neighborhood economy as well. And we know that if we don't continue moving forward, this problem will only get worse. It will not go away overnight. This is not work for the faint of heart. But if you're tough and resilient and consistent, we know there is no fight that is more critical. So with that, I want to turn it back over to our council member who has led the way and thank him for his great work and thank everybody from Wakeland for the great work that they have done too. Council member?
Thank you so much. I'll be brief because we want to avoid having too much spray up here. We want to thank the mayor for his great comments and the leadership that he's provided and the hope that he's provided to the city in tackling the biggest issues that we have, both homelessness and the coronavirus that we face. We're happy about this project because, like a lot of the projects we have around the city, we have some of the best people working on them. And so I'm proud to bring to the podium now Ms. Rebecca Louie of Wakeland. She is one of the best in the business, has overseen the development of over 1,000 units of housing for homeless people, and also seen through the management and operation of those facilities that we hold up as examples for what we want here, not just here at 47th and Normandie, but around the city of Los Angeles. Ms. Louie.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Harris-Dawson, and thank you for your leadership on this project, as well to you, Mayor Garcetti. Good afternoon. As you said, I'm Rebecca Louie, the Vice President and COO of Wakeland Housing and Development Corporation. We've been providing high-quality homes for over 20 years with meaningful services, and we're so proud to be developing the Chesterfield here in South LA. And I'm happy to be here with you on such a great day. While I wish I was surrounded by my coworkers and the rest of our team, we're just incredibly happy to be here, and the reason is that we are going to be bringing seniors off the streets with this project. The Chesterfield's very meaningful for us. We have other developments like this that serve this population, which are seniors with serious health conditions, and I can tell you there is no good time to be homeless, but when you are a senior who is sick, there's nothing worse that you can imagine. We have people who have been treated for cancer while they've been on the streets, people who've had surgeries and been released right back to the sidewalks they lived on. And when you see them move in and you see what happens to them within 48 hours of having a door that they can close, a shower that they can take, a lock, a bed, you don't recognize them. The transformations are extraordinary, and I'm so excited that we're on our way. There's no time like now, and really, especially during a pandemic, when you think the people that are at the most vulnerable for this, they cannot shelter at home. They have no home. So my voice gets trembly talking. I get worked up thinking about it, honestly, because it's so exciting to bring them home. While they're here, they're going to get more than just a home. They're going to get all the services needed to help them live stable, productive, independent lives. That's always our goal. Let's help people live as independently as they can and keep them home as long as we can. We're going to have an incredible service partner, St. Joseph's Center, who do whatever it takes to help people with improved stability, self-sufficiency, and quality of life. We've been fortunate to work with an outstanding design and construction team. This is going to be a beautiful development. Abode Communities is our architect. You can see our design. They do great work. And R.D. Olson is the general contractor, who are already just performing so well, and we're just so happy to have them. Housing communities like the Chesterfield aren't possible without the support of public and private funders. They give us the financing we need to keep our doors open and to keep the rents affordable for our residents. For the Chesterfield, that includes both the city, the county, and particularly the city's HHH bond funds, the county's No Place Like Home program. And these programs are just proof that this is a region that recognizes the value of this type of housing. Not everyone does, and the city of Los Angeles has really, and the county have really put their hearts into this to bringing as many people home as possible. We also want to thank Wells Fargo and CCRC for their investment in this project. They're wonderful partners who really are committed to improving the communities they work in. So we're really looking forward to our next milestone, which in 18 months we can have a real party where we meet the people who are moving in, get together, shake hands, do more than bump elbows, and we'll see you then. Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. I also forgot our amazing staff, which are David Hetherington, Danny McMillan, our president and CEO, Ken Souter. These things, we have to work around the clock to get them done. And so thank you to them as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and I appreciate your passion as you speak about these projects, and your voice shakes a little bit about the beauty of such a project and what it means to our city and what it means to this neighborhood. I was getting particularly emotional as you were talking because this neighborhood, I remember this neighborhood because my aunt lived on 49th, about 4 houses from the corner, and my wife grew up on 47th and Halldale, about a block that way. And I remember this neighborhood in the 80s, Mayor. It was one of the places hardest hit by the crack cocaine epidemic. And at that time, when people struggle with drug addiction, our society said, we're not going to help you, we're going to punish you. And now we see generations and generations of lost potential, lost opportunity, and it shows up in the end in homelessness that we see on all of our corners. And so to be here on this corner, to break ground on this development is very, very important. I remember being a young person. You talk about solving big problems, Mayor. When I was a young person and you'd stand out on Normandie, it was only after a rain that you could see the Hollywood sign. Now, you can see the Hollywood sign almost every day. And that's because human beings decided to get together and fix that problem. And today, this is a down payment on the problem that we want to fix that faces us, which is the problem of houselessness. So again, we want to thank you all for being with us. Thank the mayor, thank Wakeland, R.D. Olson, the city staff, our Council District 8 staff, and the mayor's office as well. Now let's get to digging and turn it over to Derek. Thank you all so much.